Quick lesson about your job. Um, what you do during the day creates a profit. So let's imagine for a second that there's no money in the world, that the world developed without money. Okay. And what you do is what your worth is. And let's say that there was a man who uh, somehow he got himself a horse and a plow. And he hired himself out to plow fields for communities to grow plants to eat. And every time that he plowed the field for this community, they gave him a 10-foot by 10-foot square of land outside of their village where no one lived. And after 20 years, he had enough land to then plow his own field and then trade those vegetables for whatever he needed, a house or whatever. So after 30 years, he's got a home and a family and a field, an income. An income, as I'm saying, as if there's no money in the world. So he is able to accumulate and provide for his family. Then one day his plow breaks and his horse dies. Now he's got to hire somebody to do it. But on that same day, money is created in the world, and he has to use money to pay somebody. And he finds a person just like himself who has a horse and a plow. A younger version of himself. Okay. And let's say at that time it was determined that a 10-foot by 10-foot piece of land cost $10. And this man hired somebody to do this, and he knew that one plow of his field is going to be would have been traded for a 10-foot by 10-foot piece of land. And now that there's money in the world, that 10-foot by 10-foot piece of land is worth $10. But instead of him hiring that guy to plow his field, and instead of giving him $10, he gave him $9.50. And the guy didn't know better, and he plowed his field. That 50 cents, that farmer gets to keep, because he chose this guy to plow his field for $9.50 instead of $10. Well, suddenly there's a group of men that are fighting to plow this field. They argue and they say, I want to plow it, so I'm going to do it for 9. I'm going to do it for 8. Okay. So now the price of that land is going down, or the price of the plowing is going down, but the price of the land stays the same at that point in time. So then there's a guy who decides that he's going to say, I'll plow your land for $7. $7, I'll plow it. And he gets the job. But then that guy who's going to do it for 7 finds somebody else on his own time, finds another person who would do it for $6.50. And he says, hey, I own a business. Why don't you plow this field? I'll give you $6.50. So then the new guy plows the field, gets paid his $6.50. The guy who found the guy who was going to plow gets 50 cents. And then the guy who owns the land gets to keep his $3. Okay. So this money gets dispersed to more people. And it's not fair for the guy who's getting $650 because he's getting paid the least and he's doing the most work. Does this sound familiar? Now, in the United States of America, you have a right to gather up with others, with other people who plow fields, and say, hey, an acceptable price to plow the field is $9.50. We're not going to plow your field for anything less than $9.50. And we've all got healthy horses, you've got good plows, we do a good job. If you hire anybody within this group of plowers, you're going to pay us $9.50. In the United States of America, you can do that and be protected and legally get to do that. Now, the issue of today arises where there are a lot of people who don't want to be that because they're like that first plow guy. He wants to hire someone else to do it for less than he's charging the landowner. And it's sad that there are so many people who don't understand this principle, don't understand these laws. So what you've got now is called a union. And you have a right to have and form and operate within a union so that you get paid proportionately or how your union deems is fair for this work. If you are not getting paid fairly, you're more than likely not in a union, or you're in a bad union if it is a union. Just something to consider.